Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Only 5 minutes. Alhamdulillah, I have a chance to meet with the brothers, during the free time, but I only maybe spoke with the Malaysian sisters because we visited Malaysia and they came. But the other sister, I did not talk to them. The time is very, this is my name and this is my number, and I am in Mecca. So anytime you come to Mecca, inshallah, we can spend time, inshallah. Inshallah. What I want to tell you before I leave, the first statement that we, Dr. Necati wrote in the first day, that teachers are criminals. So we want you, don't forget this. Don't be criminal after this program. Don't be criminal after this program. How? The Dr. Necati and his team, they know the structure, the whole structure. And now they are trying the first day, second day, third day. Now we have 4 and 5 and 6. So look to the frame as a whole, because don't look it as part. So inshallah, by the time, 6 days is not enough. It's not enough. But by the time, now alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us this place. Now we are together 3 days. But the most important thing is intuition, the niyyah. The niyyah, the ikhlas. Don't forget that you are nothing. Without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kalla inna ma'i rabbi sahidin. That Musa said. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring us here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring Dr. Necati and his team for this 5D. Is Allah, not him, not us. So inshallah, the future is for Islam. And Dr. Allah Khair tell us that inshallah one day is coming. All the world should be say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, not by the power, but by inshallah Quran and Sunnah. This is my last 5 minutes. I'm going to the airport now. I leave this paper here. Anybody can take it and put it again.
Someone can take picture and share with everybody.
Inshallah, receive you in Mecca, inshallah. See you and see you, inshallah, and make dua for me and make dua for you. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka anta al-alimu
al-hakim.
Al-hakim. Subhanaka, this is your right. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka anta al-alimu al-hakim. This word, Nursi said every time at the end of the lessons. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. It is from you. This knowledge, this is 5D, everything in our life from you. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka. Innaka, not me. Innaka anta who? Al-alimu al-hakim. These 2 words very important. Alim, Hakim. Because Alim, ilm, hikmah is tadbir, is rububiyyah. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. So I'm with you by my heart. I pray with Dr. Necati and his team to inshallah continue, and we hope that there will be WhatsApp for this group so that we can at least join and can discuss about 5D. Assalamu alaikum. ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala seyyidina Muhammedin ve ala ali kulli ve sahbi kulli ecma'in. Rabbi şrahli sadri ve essirli amri ve ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Now, I think it's the morning session we had it. Alhamdulillah, I hope it was really helpful to address some important questions that we got it yesterday, the day before. Sometime, you need to get confused first before to really appreciate what is provided. So in a way, you need to get hungry to appreciate the food. So I think we got you confused maybe sometime yesterday, the day before, but I think Dr. Alparslan provides some good clarification. And I hope you can read his works. And actually, when I start to work on the subjects, first I begin with Nasser and Alatas, and then I was reading that I saw there's one Turkish guy, and he's publishing in Malaysia, and I never knew him before, Dr. Alparslan, and I started to read his work, and then I met him, and I realized that he's in Turkey. Unfortunately, I don't think they really understand and appreciate his work, and Malaysia actually did benefit more from him than Turkish people, I can say. So because he knows more, he is known more in Malaysia than in Turkey with his work, really. He got, I think his book got prize, was published through the International Islamic University. So I strongly encourage you, particularly if you are interested in the concept of worldview and philosophy of science, Islamic civilization versus other civilization, I think you will find his work extremely helpful. I strongly recommend that you read those, inshallah. And also we have a program called Existence and Meaning. So he teaches, I don't know, how many courses now, Professor Jam? Is it 3 or 4 different you have been teaching under that program?
5.
5 different courses. So you can see it's like a graduate level courses open to everyone. Mostly our participants are PhD holders or graduate students. We now turn to hybrid, so we do online, and then we have 1 week meeting, 1 week on-site class. In summer we have in Turkey, in winter we have in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. So it's you can consider this as well, inshallah, if you are really interested and want to have on weekly basis some interaction and some, inshallah, wisdom through Alparslan Hoca. Okay, so with that, the other things I'm hearing that some of you a little bit complaining about the pain, that you think is too much. So and saying that's like it's kind of heavy. We want to enjoy, want to go outside as well. But I should remind you that our philosophy is actually we believe in pain. So I'm very pleased that if you think that you are suffering, is actually it's good things. So we think suffering is good. Yeah. So we think suffering is good. So there is a saying says there's no pain, no gain. We revise that. We think it's not good enough. We say more pain, more gain. So therefore, we actually try to impose more pain intentionally, because we think that is actually a Friedrich Nietzsche says. He says human can endure any pain as long as it's meaningful. Okay, so which means that you're willing to pay the price in the form of pain if you think the reward is greater than the pain. If the cost is less than the value. Therefore, we think having pain is no big deal as long as the gain is greater than pain. But if the gain is less than pain, and that's when you will start to really, feel the real pain and cry. Okay. So inshallah, you saw, I think Dr. Alparslan, gave you maybe some pain, but I hope the gain was much greater than the pain. Okay. So we actually started our program even earlier, to just let you know, for some of you, we started our program at 8 o'clock. So we let you to sleep until 9:30. So it doesn't really work in that way. And I will say, to get someone on 5D thinking team, we say, if you're a type of person you cannot sacrifice, you're not willing to go through the pain, perhaps you're not the right person to work with. So one sign is, say, if you're a type of person you cannot sacrifice from your sweet sleep after Fajr, perhaps you're not the right person to work with. Because we need people that who are willingly going through the pain, or not just, like in a Western concept of, well, life is fun and let's have a fun. We actually don't believe life is fun. Of course, there is a room for fun in life, but life is not fun. So, and Quran is very clear on that one. So in that case, and I hope that the key part is to really make sure that we do something meaningful and you have greater gain, and that's, inshallah, will make you to feel good at the end. Even in the beginning, it might be a little, harmful. I know some people, they travel all the way from, we have Sister Donna from Australia, where she is now. Yeah, she is there. She came all the way from, how many hours flying? 21 hours flying, see, for this program. And then we had several people came all the way from, Canada is like, you come from the top is shorter, right? How many hours, Canada? Direct is 10 hours? 10 hours, so it's half of that, yeah. You should feel... 14, okay. But still, 14 is less than 21, right? So therefore, I think that, we understand that people really have made a great sacrifice by even coming here. So we try to do our best, ask Allah and pray that He help us to really to do our best and to make sure that you're not wasting your time, and inshallah, we are all gaining some things through our collective, inshallah, effort and intention. Okay, now our subjects now, or in this session, we're going to talk about divine names. Now, divine names is one of the pillar of 5D thinking model. Is actually is one of the pillar of the Quran. So in that case, we want to really explain the reasoning behind that, why it's important, why we should cover that. And it's very, the feedback we receive from the schools that implement, I think that's the one thing that really, and everyone love it, it seems like. Except in some place, I think in Malaysia, we heard that some things like, when we say divine name, they say, are you Sufis? Do you want to, like, I think we heard something like this, like, I think that the kind of things divine names is like, if you emphasize divine names, it's more about Sufism, or say, no, this is Quran. Or Salafi? Okay. I thought it's Sufi, they say Sufi. I thought that they say Sufi, that's why I heard that. So because in zikr, they think you're going to make them to have a zikr, so I think it's very Quranic. It is the basis of the Islamic worldview, as Dr. Al-Paslan was explaining. So we try to, inshallah, go through this. Those are the main framework. We're going to look at the divine names in the Quran, and we're going to look at the divine names in the universe, and then we're going to look at the divine names in the 5D. So that is the outline. First, as I think by now you know that we always love to have exercise, right? So we're going to have a little brain exercise. The brain exercise is about the miracle of Adam alayhi salam. Does anyone remember what was the miracle given to Adam alayhi salam? The names. How the name could be miracle? How would you define miracle? His creation. So his creation, can it be miracle? His creation is a miracle, but miracle is something given to the prophet, the other bear witness, and they become sign that you are the prophet. But no one obviously had opportunity to bear witness the creation of Adam alayhi salam, so therefore there can't be really miracle to prove that he is the prophet. His creation is a miracle, but not miracle for the others, because they were not there. So we need, well, one thing we know that every prophet were given miracles. The other one they see, they say, oh, that you must be special person, meaning that you must have connection with Allah, because no one else other than Allah could do that. So that is the definition of miracle. So in that case, mu'jiza come from ajz in Arabic. So mu'jiza means that they will have some things and you cannot duplicate it. So you have an ajz to do that. So what was the miracle that Adam alayhi salam had it?
Allah made him remember all his names and then he repeated those names in front of the entire makhluk. Okay.
So again, the miracles of Adam alayhi salam was the asma, right? So that is the question here. So basically, Adam alayhi salam was asked. Adam alayhi salam was asked to recite the names. He was able to do, but the angel, what did they say? They said, Subhanaka la ilma illa ma 'allamtana. They say, we don't know anything that you don't teach us, right? So in that case, Adam alayhi salam was able to do, but the angels were not able to do. Now the question here, obviously, we need to know what does the teaching of names mean? Because if we look at the ayah, it says, وَعَلَّمَ الْآدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. وَعَلَّمَ الْآدَمَ أَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. It just says asma, names. It doesn't say which names. It doesn't say the names of Allah. It doesn't say the names of creation. It just says, وَعَلَّمَ الْآدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. One thing we know, كُلَّهَا means all of the names. But is all of the names of Allah? Or all of the names of the things? What is that first? That's the key question. Yes.
There are no witnesses here as well, or the same witnesses as of his creation. That he spoke those words only to the Malaika. There were still no witnesses. So what's the difference between this miracle or the creation? Because the Malaika also witnessed the creation of Adam.
Good. I think it's a good question. I don't. What I will say that perhaps that ilmul names was given to him against all other human as well, which means that not only against him and angels, because now there's angels observing the miracles. Because the miracle, remember, we know the prophets, they're not coming only for human. They come for like rahmatan lil alamin, where we say that he came in a way that genes came and took it a lesson from the prophet, peace be upon him. So I will say, in a way, that's very clear miracle to the angels. But I guess those people who came later on as well, still, they could not know themselves what Adam alayhi salam could know, perhaps. But I think that's one way you can look at it. But there could be other interpretation. So we can, yes.
I think this could be an answer to the question that khalaq or creation is only one name. But this says kull al-asma. So other properties and other sifats of Allah is a much bigger miracle than only one of them.
Okay, so we'll try to answer those questions. We'll reflect on that. So basically, first, why did Allah teach the names to Adam alayhi salam? Why? Second, what does it mean to know the names? And if that includes, let's say, divine names as well, does it include that? And why the angels did not know the names? If we say that Allah didn't teach them, will that be a fair competition? So, and again, those are the type of things we need to really reflect on that. We need to first know what is really, what does it mean to know this asma, okay? And then we need to know why Adam alayhi salam was given this, but angels were not able to say that. So, was it a type of information that Allah, in a way, inspired to Adam alayhi salam, but did not tell the angels? If that's the case, it's like you do the competition, you give the answer to one student, and then you say, now compete. That's cheating. The angels could easily say, no, I'm not going to play the game, you cheated. because you gave the answer to Adam, and therefore I can. But the angels said, no, we can't know. So, and if the angels, we know that before the story, they were questioning why you're going to create a human being, right? So those angels, I remember Jeffrey Long, you know, this American mathematician who became Muslims. One of the book he published called "Even Angels Ask," which means that even angels ask a question to Allah, and Ibrahim alayhi salam asked as well. So in a way, if angels were asking those questions, they could have asked and say, "It's not fair. You're giving information to Adam alayhi salam, and then now you're testing us. Of course, we don't know because there's a cheating." But there is no such question. Obviously, if that was the information given to Adam alayhi salam, not given to angel, I think angel will have objected to that. Will have said that it's not fair. Like any other student will do that. Because they were put in a competition. Then what was the things in this ayah meant? In a sense that when Adam alayhi salam was able to say the names, but angels were not able to say it. Again, if it was not a inspired knowledge, what else could have been? Any idea? What do you think? What is, because that's really the whole point of this miracle.
Is it the knowledge of all the emotions and things like that? Because the angels can only obey, so they can't relate to that?
I see. So it's good. So you're saying that it's because of the fitrah. So you're saying the fitrah of angel and fitrah of human are different. So therefore, given their fitrah, that we can know something they cannot know. What are those things that we can know but angels cannot? Do they have mind? Can they reason? Like us, the angels. No. They don't have mind? I mean, things about in this question, they were questioning before Adam. I mean, this is a very mindful question, right? So for sure they have a mind, they have consciousness.
They don't have a freedom of choice.
Oh, they are robots, you mean? So you think Allah actually programmed the angels like a robots? They actually just remotely control and act? If they were a robot, they wouldn't even have asked such question. You wouldn't expect from a robot to ask such question. Why Allah will program the robot to object his act, yani? Obviously, the way of questioning shows they are not robots either. So what is the difference between being human versus angels?
Is it possible to speak Arabic and you translate?
ما في مشكلة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. يعني أجمل ما وجدته في هذا الجانب وهذا الموضوع أن الله سبحانه وتعالى لم يعطي الاستخلاف، فكرة الاستخلاف لا للجن ولا للملائكة.
ما معنى استخلاف؟
الاستخلاف هي الخلافة.
خلافة بأي شكل؟
قال الله سبحانه وتعالى ولما سأل الملائكة قال إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. لماذا لم يعطي هذه الخلافة للملائكة؟ لماذا لم يعطيها للجن وهم مخلوقون قبل آدم قبل البشر؟ أغلب علماء التفسير يقولون أن السبب أن الله سبحانه وتعالى سيعطي هذه المهمة الخلافة إلى من له طبيعتين وليس طبيعة واحدة. الملائكة لهم طبيعة واحدة، طبيعة روحانية، والجن لهم طبيعة واحدة، طبيعة مادية. الإنسان هو الوحيد الذي له الطبيعتين، يتحرك بالروح يكاد يصل إلى أعلى درجات المقامات الروحية، وقد ينزل لممكن يصبح أقل من الحيوان في الجانب المادي، فلديه الطبيعتين، ولهذا هو المؤهل لهذه المهمة. والله أعلم.
Shukran. So this is what he's saying, that basically human is created as a Khalifa with the potential to go to the highest of the high and to go the lowest of the low. But angels, they actually did not have something like this. So they had only spiritual side. They didn't have, in a way, bodily and the nafs with the body, and therefore their fitra was that he used a tabi'ah, of course. Yani, this is a forbidden word now for us. You heard from Dr. Al-Faslan, right? So it's basically their fitrah is different. That's what.
طبيعتين مين؟ القدرتين. القدرة على أن يصبح.
Okay.
والقدرة على أن ينزل. الملائكة ليس لهم إلا قدرة واحدة.
Okay.
جانب الروح.
In terms of potential, that's potential to go up and go down. So then it's saying that for angels there isn't something like this, and for human that there is a potential you can go to the highest of how low, so low. But the question obviously, and he mentioned amana, that's basically with that make you to be khalifa. What is the amana with human that basically can get you high or low that the angels do not have? Because that, yeah, we can say it's khalifa, but that's khalifa, is it appointing to the position? Or is it something in a fitrah that make you to be eligible to be khalifa in that case? As a knowledge.
The choice. Is that the choice?
Okay, the choice, the irada. Okay, just can you give the mic?
The human is the Khalifa because Allah has made him the Khalifa. But then the regular associations that Allah are basically the effects that Allah has created and that He sustains are, of course, well, the human has the choice, the human has the intelligence, whereas the angel is the being that does not have the free will or the choice that the human has. But ultimately, the human is the Khalifa because, the Khalifa because Allah sent him. So he's a creation of Allah, and that's what He chose to be.
Where did we meet this?
So you mean that, I mean, we as a parent even without reason cannot choose one kid over the others, right? I mean, look, if you go tell your kids that I choose you over the other just so I'm parents, I think they're going to object it, right? My kids are here, they can tell you that. Like, if they even feel that way, forget about explicit, choice. If they feel it, they'll say it's not fair. So I think there has to be hikmah behind that because Allah is al-Hakim, right? So whatever He does, there must be reason behind that. So in that case, basically, what we see, it's this miracle shows that the human potential being absolutely different than the angelic potential. So in a way that basically that potential is a sign that human is potentially superior to angels, and angel acknowledge that, and the sign of acknowledgement, they were asked to prostrate to Adam alayhi salam. Prostration is the ultimate sign of, in a way, the differences between the human and angels, which means that human potentially, when we say someone is really good, we say you're like an angel. It's actually, that's not Quranic, because human is not like angel. Human potentially could be much better than angels and should be much better than angels. Okay, why? Because it seems like human fitrah is different. And because of the fitrah and because of the amana, and the amana that everyone, it seems like afraid, when the Quranic ayah says, afraid to take it, that human have that basically give humans a potential to go to the highest of high or lowest to the low. What is that? That is basically, is the ana, is the self, that given the human, that we as a human with the nafs, with the ego, with all other lataif, with all other faculty, and with the body, that we can have a sort of experience that no one can have it. No angels can have it. So like a simple example, we can enjoy food and understand the name of a Razzaq much better than angels, because angels don't eat and don't drink. Imagine if you never eat and drink, how can you appreciate the delicious taste of, what is the favorite Turkish dessert? Baklava. Like baklava, right? So if you never eat baklava, how would you appreciate the taste of baklava? So you can be sick and you understand the name of Al-Shafi. So in a way that the human bodily experience with all lataif, with all faculty, is actually making human potentially to be better than angels. Okay, so that is the point. Now, of course, the question here, what can we do to use our potential and to be like Adam alayhi salam and to be even better than angels? So, and that's basically, it means goes through the divine names. So, and also divine names is very clear in the Quran. It says that وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِيهَا. It says that all the beautiful names belong to Allah, and make dua with those names, which means that, you know, when you're sick, you're supposed to make dua with which name? Ya Shafi, give me shifa. Because that's the name, according to them. When, let's say, when you are confused, you want guidance from Allah, which name you should invoke? Ya Hadi, give me hidayah, because hidayah is actually like, show me the right way, right? So in this case, that we are supposed to, basically look at and understand the importance of the name and recite this in our dua. Now, why the name is important? The names, as I mentioned, is an essence of the Islamic worldview. Why? Because in materialistic worldview, what is the essence of the existence? What makes everything according to materialistic worldview? Everything is made of particles, matters, right? Ultimately, this whole discussion is it an atom? Is it an electron, a proton, quark? But ultimately, they believe everything, though now quantum somehow shows there is really no matter out there. But the ideology is saying that everything is made of matter. But what is this is they call ontology. So what is the essence of existence according to Islamic worldview? The essence of existence means, is it everything made of atoms? What is really the essence of everything? If you truly want to go deep down and down and down and down, dig it down, what are you supposed to find as the basis for everything? The haqiqatul ashya is? What is the haqiqatul ashya? The haqiqatul ashya is Asma al-Husna. So which means that divine names has an ontologic significance in Islamic worldview. Because in Islam, we believe is like a hologram, that when you have holographic, I did one presentation, right now they start to use hologram. I actually give one workshop through the hologram. So when you have the holographic presentation, that you can see the image in 3D, and you see as if the person is next to you. But actually, there is no person here, it's just the reflection of something. So in this case, in Islam, that the idea here, everything are the reflection of the divine names. So the essence of everything is, in this regard, is the divine name. Now what they use they call tajalliyat, tajalliyatul asma. Tajalliyat, what does tajalliyat mean? Anyone knows what the tajalliyat mean? Manifestation. What does manifestation of the names mean?
How they're interpreted.
See, so what does manifestation of the names mean? So manifestation of the names means how the names is reflected, right? But what does it really mean? Because there's one of the terms we use a lot, the tajalliyat, and we say that the divine names are manifested. But what do we mean when we say Allah is manifesting Himself on the tree, on the skies, in the water, and everywhere? So we need to understand what does manifestation mean. So manifestation is actually, it's like this. Let's say if I tell you that, I'm a great artist. I do an excellent piece of art. So which means that I claim I have the skill of art, right? So would you believe in me? But if I like spend whole hour and tell you, you know, how great artist I am and I am really doing that and that, will you believe in me? No. Sophia, want to say something?
So manifestation would be something that's reflected in what you do, your work, your actions, behaviors, and so on.
Exactly. So the reflection on what you do or in what you do. But what does it mean? It means like, let's say, if I say I'm a great, you know, a painter, then in this case, the only way for you to know my skill, that you need to see my painting. If you see my painting, basically what is that? You have a canvas, you have a paint, but then you have something manifested on the canvas, which is my painting skill, that as I paint, what you will see is extremely ugly painting. So in this case, you say, actually, your art skill is absolutely terrible. But if I'm absolutely great artist, you're going to see in a perfect piece of art, and that's how you believe I have such art skill. So in that case, like my art skill, all of the attributes of Allah can only be known by us if we observe them through His creation. So as we look at the creation, that we can see the manifestation of the divine attributes. We can see the manifestation of the divine names. So for that reason, that we should be able to look at the universe and actually to see and read the divine names. Okay? So, and we will try to show how we can do that. But before that, we want to look at how the divine names mentioned in the Quran. Okay? So in the Quran, actually, I don't know, I didn't really still look at intentionally. You can check it. I don't think you can find almost any single page of Quran without any divine names mentioned. Right? Do you notice that how often the Quran mentioned the divine names? Do you see that Quran generally, all the story will always end with certain divine names. So in a way that you will see, will tell you something, and then the concluding remark is almost always through the divine names. So, and when you look at the Quran, you see as if the Quran is a book of teaching divine names. It's very, very obvious that the Quran aims to teach us the divine names. Why? It's because that's essentially, if we want to know Allah, we can know Allah through His attribute, through His names, and the names of Allah is given in the Quran, but it's like me telling you I'm a great artist. Now then, you said it's not sufficient. Then is it sufficient to read the divine names in the Quran and memorize without looking at the creation? Is it sufficient? No, not at all. So therefore, what is really missing? The missing part is that we don't read Quran along with the universe. In the Quran, Allah is introducing Himself with all of His beautiful names, but He referred to the universe to point to the manifestation of those names to make us to believe in it. Because otherwise it will be just taqleed. You just accept it, but you cannot really believe in it. If I, you might really trust me when I say I'm a great artist, but you will still have a doubt because you haven't seen any of my artwork. What is ironic that, we hear a lot from Muslims, they will say, let's get the kids to memorize Quran and, and study, have Islamic studies. But they don't really need the science. They don't really need to study the universe. So we say that's like saying that there is an exhibition of a great artist, and he's first getting you in a room and telling who he is, and then telling you go and look at the exhibition. You say, no. The word is enough. No one is allowed to go and to see the exhibition. Okay? But when we look at the Quran, we find out there are certain names obviously recited more than others. And I only made a list of the names that recited 10 or more than 10 times. Okay. Now, one thing was surprising to me. I don't know those who knew. Just those who don't know, who did not look at before, answer it, please. What would you guess will be the most cited name in the Quran? Name of Allah after Allah. If you know, don't say it. Try to guess it only. Okay. So, because if you already learned somewhere, don't say it. But try to guess it. What is the second most cited name in the Quran after Allah? Yes. Ar-Rahman. No, it's not. No, not. No, not. No, not. No. Yes. Anyone could guess it. No. 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 Okay. See, let's look at here. See, Al-Ghani 18 times, Al-Shaheed 18 times, Al-Basir. You can see Al-Basir is 42 times. Al-Tawwab 11, Al-Wahid, Ahad 22 times, Al-Halim, Al-Ra'uf. You see Al-Khaliq, Al-Khallaq. This is also very important, two names, and to know the difference as well. Both is mentioned. And you see which one's 45? Al-Khabir is 45 times. And if you look at Al-Sami also is a lot. Al-Sami 45 times. Al-Aziz is a lot, yes, 92 times is good catch. Al-Ghafur is also a lot. Al-Hakim is also a lot. Al-Alim, it's actually, you see 157 times also. With other variation, you have 170 times. Al-Rahman and Rahim, obviously there are different views on that one. Some scholar believes that Bismillah is revealed every time, so therefore they will count it with every surah. Some will say, no, it's revealed only once, you know, so therefore you can get different numbers with that. But look at the Rabb. 900 times. Why do you think that the Rabb is mentioned most after Allah in the Quran?
Because Rabb has all the attributes.
Of all the attributes. But Allah, wouldn't that be sufficient? Allah has all the names, encompassing name, Allah. So why Rabb is mentioned more? Yes, Sister Dana?
It's an ongoing thing. It's not like today's view of God created everything and let it be. The fact that He's actively involved day to day with the maintenance of everything.
Exactly. So, see, so the idea here is that because the problem is when we consider Allah as a Khaliq and set the system and let it to automatically run, remember he was avoiding this word as well, or run by itself, that is very false one according to Quran. So the Quran again and again bring a Rabb telling us that He is the one sustaining everything every moment. Kullu yawmun huwa fi shan. He's not like He created first and then set the system and then now the system is running. That is the main problem. As we go through this training, this is one of the main resistance we hear from most people is this idea of like, I would call it the deistic idea, that like Allah created, oh, okay, Allah created the digestive system, so fine, that the digestive system now is run by itself, nothing wrong with that, and this is a scientific fact, so we can talk about that, see? And then when we object, like, okay, no, this is, you got too extreme, like, you know, you don't have to really bring Allah in everything, like, you know, Allah can create a digestive system and it can automatically run. Okay, then Allah create the body automatically run. Then Allah create the universe automatically run. Then what Allah is doing now? Oh, He's just watching out there and He's just exceptionally intervening? That's not the Allah Quran talks about that. So that's how we want to make the connection. And in a way that the emphasis on Rabb is basically correcting our misunderstanding of the Creator. The Creator is not just Khaliq, that who create and set the system. He is the sustainer that sustains everything from moment to moment. he is, in this case, al-khallaq, means that he creates constantly. It's not just one time creator, he creates and then he set the system to run automatically. So now let's see how we can see the divine names in the universe. So in that case, if we look at the universe as what? Exhibition of divine art. The universe is an exhibition in which the artist that basically showcase his artwork. Now, how can we look at the artwork and know about the artist? That's basically how we can read the divine names in the universe. So again, as I mentioned, that you cannot know the artist, by the words. You have to look at the work. So in that case, we need to look at the universe and see how the names is manifested. Like when you look at, let's say, the seed, the tree, and the fruit, how would you see the divine names inside them? Let's start with the seed. When you look at the seed, can you see the divine name in a seed of apple, let's say? And how would you see that? First. Second, do you think the science can help you to see the divine names in the seed? Or do you think that you don't need science to see the divine names in the seed?
Can say Al-Hafiz by DNA.
Okay, Al-Hafiz means he protects the things. Okay, what else? How many names you can read in a seed when you look at it? Is only one name manifested there? Huh? Okay, like what are the most obvious one? Al-Hafiz is one. Yes. Musawwir is not in this. It's a seed is not that obvious. In the tree is much more obvious. Al-Waris, yeah, is like Al-Hafiz. Yeah. Al-Awwal is very obvious there. Wal-Awwalu, Wal-Akhiru, Wal-Zahiru, Wal-Batin. So you can see, again, you can see many names. Yes.
I was going to say the splitter, because he can split
yes.
and create, we can't do that. And the mercy.
What is that name?
I don't know.
Al-Fattah. Al-Fattah. So it's the opener. Al-Fattah. So he opens up. The seed cannot open by itself. So what was the ayah in Quran? Actually, the Quran directly states that. So Allah is the one who opens the seed. But how do we teach in school? Oh, it's just naturally. You plant the seed, you water it, and the seed grows. So, yeah, with the right conditions. See, but the Quran doesn't speak in that way. So in that case, so we need to look at, when we look at the creation, so we should be able to see the divine names manifesting. But how many divine names you could see that? It all depends on how much you know about this. So in this case, do you think science can help or can harm you when you study science in terms of seeing the divine names?
I think it's better because it helps you visualize better.
Science is better. Why is better?
Because when you cut open the seed and then you see the layers.
Yeah, you can say, yes.
So when you look into the seed, when you open the seed and dissect it, you see the layers and how beautifully it has the outer layer, the protection, and then the inner layer. So I think that helps.
Yeah. Very good. So it's actually, it reminds me a story of Richard Feynman. Do you know Richard Feynman? I know those physicists will know that, right? Those famous physicists. Richard Feynman was very good as a scholar, scientist, and also very good as a teacher. Okay. Sometime in teaching, we actually use the Feynman teaching methods. Okay. So Feynman once, he said, one of his friends, an artist friend, told him, look, you physicists get a beautiful rose and you destroy into the pieces, you want to see the atom inside, so you're destroying the beauty of that flower, okay? And he said, he told his friends that no, we're not destroying the beauty. We're actually helping you to see the beauty that's not visible to your eyes. as we study the inner side of the flower, we can reveal the inner beauty that's not visible to the naked eyes. So in that case, science can help us to penetrate to the hidden beauty if, again, we remove the ideology from that we can see and read more divine names with the science. So again, to use science to see the divine names, we need to really know, what is science, what science can do, what science cannot do. So in this case, that it's, if we, like as we discussed in the first day and partially second day, if we go like by scientism as if science can answer all questions, then obviously we can't get to the divine names, because we just will stuck with the materialistic secular ideology. Okay, so which question science can answer actually? What, how, or why question? Which one science can answer? So let's say I'm asking a question about water. I say, what is water? How the water comes into existence, and why the water has certain property as it has. Which one of those questions can be answered convincingly by science? What question? How about how question? Can science answer how question? Can science answer how question? Actually, science in a true sense cannot answer how question, because the science can only observe and telling what is happening as they observe. So therefore we say the science in a way is a descriptive, is based on observation. So in this case, if scientists observe 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen come together, and then they observe water, they can say, oh, okay, the water is coming into existence when 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen come together. But is it the cause, or is this the causation, or is it the association? They don't know. How this can happen, how hydrogen and oxygen can produce water that has a property which are completely different than the property of hydrogen and oxygen, because the property of water is one of the most amazing things. If you study a little bit about water, like in terms of the boiling points, in terms of when the water is actually the density, when the water being what is the most solvent fluid, they say, that anything you can put inside, or salt and things, and buoyancy. Even I was reading one of the buoyancy is very important for cooking as well. I will say that, because otherwise, when you put it inside the water and cook it, it wouldn't really work. So there are many properties of waters that are truly amazing and necessary for life. And then when you study hydrogen and oxygen, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. Now, how do we get that? How do we get water with such amazing, miraculous properties from hydrogen and oxygen? The science says is just emergent properties. That's the word they use that. So emergent property is basically just a fancy name of avoiding the question. It's not an answer to the question. What we do, we say, no, that is created property. There is a creation that when hydrogen and oxygen come together, the water is created. The property of water is created. Therefore, if I'm going to explain water to a student, I cannot do a fair job if I do not link to the creator. Because there is a creation in the process. It's not just observational things that you can say, oh, there is no causation. That is the problem we have it. Because those who say there is no need for God, they absolutely believe in causation. But go and read Ghazali 1,000 years ago. He obviously rejects causation. There is absolutely no causation. There is only association. And association in Arabic called iqtiran, which means that there are 2 things created together. Always Allah creates water when 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen come together in a particular way. But that's His way of creation. That's the sunnatullah. But that is not the causation. So in that case, then why do I need to study science? So I need science because the science can help me to get inside and to observe the creation, the process of creation. The science can help me to understand the sunnatullah, the way of creation. So because the Quran tells me that anything you want, you have to follow sunnatullah, which means that anything I want from Allah, I have to look the real scientific study and follow them to ask from Allah to create for me. So in that case, science will become very useful. Like the example again I mentioned, let's say yesterday briefly, if you eat an apple pie, obviously you're curious. You know, let's say you wake up this morning and you see in your room on a table there's an apple pie. You think, where did it come from? Man? You might even say, okay, maybe the whole spring you now give an apple pie to everyone, you know. But you never say it just happened by itself. You always make assumptions someone brought and made it and brought it for you. It's very simple one. You could not find any single person, including atheists, will say, oh, this apple pie just happened to be by itself, or just maybe in the kitchen, the winds mix all these ingredients and make an apple pie. But what we learn in science, if we're thinking about apple pie and know what, how, and why it exists in, let's say, our room, so while it's very simple, but if we look at apple itself, that's the book I mentioned the other day. This is a physics professor at Cambridge University. The book called How to Make an Apple Pie from Scratch. So you see in the picture, the whole universe is inside a single apple. So it's actually, that's a true pictures of the reality of an apple. Which means that to get a single apple, the book's argument, this is not to have 4 ingredients like apple pie. You have to have 4 billion times billion atoms to put together in a particular way to get a single apple. Even if a simple apple pie cannot happen by itself, how come an apple with 4 billion times billion ingredients can come into existence by itself? So in that case, as we study science, we can see the name of Al-Alim, Al-Hakim, Al-Qadir. So the science can actually help us to see more names than, you know, if we look at without that. So again, in the seed you can read, let's say, Al-Hafiz, Al-Alim, Al-Hakim, Al-Awwal. In the tree, when the tree is created, you can see Al-Jamil, Al-Musawwir, Al-Zahir, Al-Batin, because the inside the tree will tell you that. In the fruit, you can see Al-Razzaq, Al-Karim, Al-Akhir. So against that, basically, of course, you can read many names. Now, our expert on the divine names is Dr. Colin Turner. He actually offers a course on the divine names under existence and meaning. And so we're encouraging him to publish a book that we can use it for 5D thinking as well on the subjects. So, and if you are really interested in the subjects, and we recommend that you take one of those courses. He actually covered this whole semester only on the divine names. So, and we have the link from one or two his presentation at your free time. You can look at those as well. And this is one of, we can finish with that one. This is one of a very nice question he asked that. Again, if you hear from him before, don't answer that. This is, you know, if you listen to his presentation, and he asked the cherry question and rose question. So when you say it is a beautiful rose, a beautiful flower, is this true or false according to the Islamic worldview? Is it okay to say, when you see a beautiful flower, to say, oh, it is a beautiful flower? Is this okay or not?
False.
Why?
Because you're giving credit to the rose itself. So it's created beautifully.
Okay, but how about if you say, can we say that it's a beautiful flower, but the beauty is created by Allah? You can say that? So in other words, is it the flower beautiful? Or what is the beauty? What is the beautiful that you see there? What is the beautiful that you see there? See, if you say flower is beautiful, you actually saying the beauty belongs to the flower. We might say that's created by Allah or that's happened by itself. The question here, you still think the beauty belongs to the flower. But you say, oh, that beauty is given by Allah, or naturalists would say that beauty naturally, let's say, emerge. But think this way. Imagine that you have a mirror and then you have a flower. And you see in the mirror the reflection of flower. What are you supposed to say? So you look at the mirror and you see the reflection of a beautiful flower. Would you say, oh, mashallah, it's a beautiful mirror? Would you say that? Why? Because the beauty is not in the mirror. The beauty is reflected in the mirror, belong to the flower. So in that case, basically it means that if we look through the divine names, that means whatever we look at it, we should see the divine names. And we should direct our feeling or attachment toward the divine names. So it's like, if you see a beautiful flower in the mirror, you're not going to love the mirror. You're going to love the flower that's reflected in the mirror. So in that case, but if you think the beauty belongs to mirror, you might get attached to the mirror. So essentially, it means as we understand the divine names and see everything as the reflection of the divine names, when we see a beautiful flower, we're going to think the beauty of the names of Allah. We're not going to love the flower by itself. We're going to love Allah more than the flower. We might love the flower in terms of being the mirror to the divine beauty, but our attachment will not be to the flower, will be to the reflection of the divine names in the flower. Yes, or say mashallah, right? So in a way you remind yourself that is from Allah. That is, again, to say from Allah is good, but I will say, the question here, do you say it's from Allah but within that? Or do you say it's actually, it's not belong to that, it's just the reflection of the divine names. So when you see it's the reflection of the divine names, then now you will direct all of your attachment to the divine names. I'll say, particularly in the modern times, that the one reason that most Muslims are really attached to this world, because when they look at the things, and we hear the argument, they say, look, you know, this is the ni'mah of Allah, why shouldn't we enjoy that? The problem is that they see as if those ni'mah has the property and they should love this ni'mah, whether it's a beautiful car and a beautiful house, a beautiful garden. But when you see that all the beauty belongs to Allah, so you direct your attachment toward Allah. So, and therefore when Quran says, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ, what really satisfied you is remembrance of Allah and your relationship with Allah. You give importance to everything else only in terms of being the mirror to that. Even that's true for your friends, for your car, for your worldly things. So you only consider them as the mirror reflecting certain bounties, a blessing from Allah. So, and that's in this regard, once we have such level of understanding in terms of the divine names, wherever you go, whatever you see, you will see is just the reflection of Allah. You will see the manifestation of Allah. So, and then you will see, huwa ma'akum aynama kuntum. Wherever you go, He is with you. Whatever you look, He is there manifested with it there. He is communicating with you. He is talking to you. So that is the level of consciousness that we will gain once we understand the divine names in proper way. Yes?
Can I just mention, subhanAllah, how rooted in culture, there are sayings that we say that do reflect it. But nowadays, I think what's happening is that a lot of people are moving away from those, you know, old sayings that we used to say, like when we say when we see someone who's beautiful, we say, Subhan al-Khaliq, Subhan alladhi khalaqha. You know, like, so we use it a lot. In the old sense of culturally say things like this. But nowadays, what we find, as you said, is that we say, oh, she's beautiful.
Or we say, say wow, yeah. Like wow. Exactly. What does wow mean? Means nothing. Yeah. Wow.
Go back to our, you know, ancestors, our parents, our grandparents. They used to use this type of language.
The hadith says that when you see something, you should say Subhana man tahayyara fi sunnih al-uqul. So that's again, that's the basically, you know, the way we can express. Yes. Any questions? Anything before we close the session? Yes.
Might there be some mirrors that are a bit cloudy that actually distort us from appreciating the divine names?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. So particularly when you look mirror of ourself, we have to start with this mirror first. How much I could be the mirror to the divine names, meaning that how much I, through my choices, in life, can actually reflect the divine names. When people look at me and look at my choices, how much they can see and remember Allah. So in that case, we, through our choices, we can make our mirror to be shiny, reflect the name, or to be very blackened and not showing any names as well. Therefore, you will see differences between, let's say, Muslims, non-Muslims, a good Muslim and bad Muslim in terms of reflecting divine names. And that's the reason that when you look at them, the key part, every human, including non-Muslims, they will show certain divine names on their body. But on their characters, they will not show those divine names. So Muslims are supposed to reflect the divine names through their characters, through their choices, through their behavior, not through their body only. That's, I think, the differences. And that's true for everything else as well. That when we look at it to see whether it's revealing the divine names or not. But I think the essence is us how we try to make ourselves to be a shiny mirror to divine names.
And again, that's the best da'wah.
Exactly. That's how we become a role model, right? They look at you and they remember Allah. They see Allah through your actions. That's the thing. Yes.
I just remembered an expression that is used, I think, in the Arab world and the Muslim world. If somebody says, oh, this or that is beautiful, then they say, your eyes are beautiful. So it's actually the conception of what you have of the thing that you see with the eyes you got from Allah, and if the meaning you give to this object, what you see, is actually given by the mind and the heart. So that's all the time
very, very, very good. Actually, you know, the teachers do a lot of mistake on that as well. When you see a student really successful, what do you say? Oh, you did an excellent job. You're great. You know, as students, you're, you know, so how are you supposed to praise this student? You're supposed to remind that's blessing from Allah. You say, MashaAllah, you have been blessed with a great success. Thanks to Allah for this. So now you actually complimenting student, but you're reminding student that's not yours. That's not from you. That's a grant, and that is a gift from Allah. So I think that's the same thing when you see, let's say, a beautifully created baby. You're not supposed to say, oh, you're very beautiful. Because you should remind this person as well that, oh, mashallah, you have been created beautifully, not you're beautiful. So then in this case, you directly give credit to the creator. Okay? Okay, so I think, yes?
Number one, I see like some of you are thinking like personality, but use this, don't choose this. The question is the beginning, the title of this, the miracle of. So this miracle is not used anywhere in the Quran, no authentic about it. So how can we use it?
Oh, you mean how we can call it as a miracle when it's not named as a miracle? We use it again based on the definition of miracle. Miracle is mu'jiza, means that when the prophets are given some things, the human are ajiz to duplicate that.
Does it mention this in the Quran as mu'jiza?
Again, not by name, but by the definition.
Like use the ijaz for people.
Yeah.
Like Allah,
For the angels.
We are nothing. It's like me, challenging 2 years old, can you carry 10 kilos, for example? So Allah is not making ijaz for us. So that's why it's not used in the Quran as mu'jiz.
Yeah, again, the reason I use that's because I read it from some scholar. I didn't use myself first time. I can show you the reference that I used that. They did refer this as a miracle of Adam alayhi salam, okay? But my reasoning was they did refer it because of the definition of mu'jiza, okay? But again, if you say no, since the Quran does not mention it, we don't, that we respect that as well, yeah. Yeah. No.
The second part, like when we eat something,
yes.
We don't say Bismillah, and then we do another thing. Every bite, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. So every time we see something, I don't think we need to mention Allah. Maybe at the end we mention this is beautiful, this is beautiful. But we have the intention, this beauty came from where? We know from Allah. We have to mention Allah every time we say something. Now if you look at the Quran also,
yeah.
He didn't say how we created, how it was created. So now think and refer to Allah at the end. And the sama and the earth. He didn't mention I. He said think who created this.
Yeah, so good point. Though I had one friend, he will say Bismillah every time he will get into it. He will say Bismillah every time. But but the sunnah is you say the beginning. Yeah, you say the beginning. So in other words, you will say by niyyah, but by niyyah, which means because it's not possible, it's not feasible for you. So what we're saying here, we are saying like this is the mindset that is almost completely gone in modern times. So we put an emphasis to just bring it back again. But in a way, as you mentioned, it's like we're not saying like be extreme in a way, but we're trying to say when you see flower, what do you really you think? Now, if you say when I see flower, I don't really give beauty to the flower. I see the flower as a mirror, but I don't have to think every time. That's fine. We're not, but if you do the survey, you find out most people are not at that level. That's the reason we're discussing that. So in a way, how we're going to perceive everything as the mirror to the divine names to get this understanding or mindset. That's the essential part. But otherwise, yeah, the wording part, the wording part is the least important compared to the worldview part. So working on the worldview to see whether we are looking through the Tawhidi worldview or not. But the wording part, we're not picky on that, as it's not necessary to be picky on every wording as well. But there are some wording we're very, very, very picky on that, like nature, and so because we have a serious problem with that because of this meaning in that. But again, that's what we think, because based on the model what we covered, and people disagree, we respect that as well.
Something I remember there's a fear among Muslims every time they say something, don't say this is kufr and so on. The brother mentioned before, don't use khalaqa, because khalaqa, if you mention, this is kind of kufr, how Shaykh mentioned. Khalaqa, I can be khaliq, I can be creating something. Allah mentioned this in the Quran. Like I gave, Allah gives, but the giving of Allah is different from my giving. Allah takes, I take. Taking of Allah is different. So I create, Allah creates, creation of Allah is different. That's why Allah says in the Quran, وَتَخْلُقُونَ إِفْكًا. You are created, تَخْلُقُونَ إِفْكًا, lies. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Isa alayhi salam, يَخْلُقُ لَهُ مِنَ الطِّينِ. So he mentioned the khalq Isa. And Allah says that, this one all of us know, تَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. So there are khaliqeen, there are creators. Allah is the best one. So it's okay to mention this. It's not like, don't say this is shirk and so on. So just a message to teachers.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way.
No, don't say that.
I think in our 5D model, we use it as we say, أَفَمَنْ يَخْلُقُ كَمَنْ لَا يَخْلُقُ أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. The Quran is very clear that the one who creates, can it be equal to the one who cannot create? So which basically means that who can create? Allah can create only. So in a real sense, when you read the entire Quran, that you will see that the creation in terms of bringing something out of nothings only belong to Allah, and that's khalq. And that's khalq, we call it khalq in terms of ibda and insha. So ibda is bringing from nothingness, insha is to put together what is out there. So when we come to ibda, absolutely we can't do anything. And the way they use in modern time, khalq is really, they attribute this ibda to human being. And that's the reason we put in our forbidden list that when they say creative thinking, creative anything, we say, find better words, call the innovative one. Because humans need to understand their ajz, that you don't have, we say you don't have any power, how can you claim you create? Because the Quran says, we are the one create you and your work. Because that's like, when you say I do the thing as well, in reality it's a metaphorical. It's Allah is doing for you. So if you look at the entire Tawheedi worldview, it's very, very clear. You cannot give anything beyond the irada, that's, they call it male tasarruf, in irada. You can give it to human being. That's why Dr. Hassan was saying that the only thing you could do is choosing. You can choose. But who is creating all this? Allah only create that. So therefore, again, the way they use it in modern time, we really try to avoid it. But that's gonna, I think Sister must say is enough. We need to finish it, right?